Definitely need to talk about your final fight scene.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we were praising pretty much every time we talked about this show was how the attention to detail that the writers paid to for the battle scenes, and
Yeah.
more specifically like the bigger battle scenes, but also just the styles of fighting. And one thing I wanted to ask you was, were there any specific pointers you were given on the way Danes fought, or was it kind of just a scripted fight? Go in there, you're gonna die, but let's make it look cool.
We had the discussion, and that was actually in season one, in the first episode, because we were talking about, there was these massive battles, and they were all done really, really cool and kind of, sword fighting in that way. And we were talking about it and said, this is too much. It looks good, but it's too much. You wouldn't care if you stabbed somebody in the back. I mean, you would just go for the kill immediately. Right. Don't make it look good. So actually, I had a couple of fights in the start. I can't remember how much was in the final after the editing, but it was actually more about just stabbing all the wrong ways and just going for the. I mean, not making it look good. Yeah, exactly. And you don't care about if people later on went, well, you stabbed him in the back. Well, who gives a fuck? He died. I mean,
right. I'm alive and he's dead. Yeah.
So that we kind of brought that kind of thought into the second season as well, and into that fight as well. That it had to be. Second language, English. It had to be more dirty than cool looking.
Right. Brutal
and I remember that the thing that worked for me in that scene was actually when they moved back, when they're pushed back into the corner. We were talking about that my son,
Sven,
Sven, that he was going to die in the other room, and I said, "Can't I please see it through the window, because that's gonna do the effect. That's
such a great
even
scene.
Though he's Kjartan the Cruel or whatever, still his boy, still his. I mean, and that's gonna evolve into a fight that might not be cool looking, just gonna go bananas.
I freaking love that.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that too, because we have said in both podcasts so far, complimenting these fight scenes and these battle scenes, saying that they almost look awkward because they look so real and not highly choreographed. And so that's great that you say that. And again, the scene with him seeing Sven through the window, or however you want to say it, seeing him in the other room, is amazing as well, just because, like you're saying, he's Kjartan the Cruel, but his whole motivation is Sven. Keeping him protected. From the first episode, you see all he's doing is trying to protect Sven and get the retribution for taking the eye of Sven. And, in season 2, Sven isn't like, he's like the little sidekick. He can't really do anything. And his dad's taking care of everything. It's you protecting him the entire time. So, yeah, that's great that they added that scene right before the brutal fight scene.
Yeah, I just remember that it just kickstarted everything else. And then I didn't care how it was and how we were going to do that, or it was just going to go, because he goes in there so angry, and he's dead as well. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I really love that. And that's kudos to the director. That was really, really, really cool.